Good morning, gentlemen. In our series of videos on values, morality, ethics, this is the fourth video on the subject. Today, we will be talking on different types of ethics. We did talk about what is value, what is morality, and what is ethics. We decided and we agreed that ethics is nothing morality in action. If that is the case now, what are the different types of ethics? That let's have a look at that. Okay. Types of ethics, the first is called personal ethics. Personal ethics are any system that has been chosen in some way as a moral guide in particular life cycle, particular lifestyle. So it becomes a personal. Social ethics is the standard that governs how members of society are to deal with each other on issues such as fairness, justice, poverty, rights of the individual, etc. So you'll agree, different societies have different social ethics. Something which may be socially ethical in our society may not be acceptable in some other society. So we can say the rightness of an action is based on customs and norms of a particular society or community. Usually, things are done around there. That's how we try and stick to it. Next comes religious ethics. Most religions have ethical components, often derived from purported supernatural revelation or guidance. It can be Bible, it can be Gita, it can be any religious book. For many people, ethics is not only tied up with religion, but is completely settled by it. Such people do not need to think too much about ethics because there is an authoritative code of instructions, a handbook of how to live. Some assert that religion is necessary to live ethically. Blackburn states that there are those who would say that we can only flourish under the umbrella of a strong social order cemented by common adherence to particular religious traditions. Okay, next comes business ethics. We know businesses are flourishing and there are ethical and non-ethical ways of flourishing itself. Those who do not follow the ethics or the rules, many of them are in problem, but some of them do get scot-free as well. So the business ethics and business ethics is the study of good and evil, right and wrong, just and unjust action in business. Although all managers face difficult ethical conflicts, applying clear guidelines resolves the vast majority of them. Ethical tradition that apply to business support truth-telling, honesty, protection of life, respect to rights, fairness, and obedience to law. Eliminating unethical behavior may be difficult, but knowing the rightness or wrongness of an action is usually easy. Then we come back to computer ethics. 7 essential components of personal code of computer ethics are honesty, respect, confidentiality, professionalism, responsibility, communication, and obeying the law. Next question comes up, why do people act unethically? That's a fundamental, again, it's a dilemma. A person's ethical standards are different from those of society as a whole. So personally, I may be differing with my social ethics. A person chooses to act selfishly many times. In many times, he may be choosing to act as per society. It's up to him to decide. Let's take an example of a woman driving in a lonely road and she being driven by a hired driver. In between, she finds an accident has taken place. And naturally, she asks her driver to stop so that she can afford to give help to the person who is in need. But the driver, rather than stopping, speeds up, goes past. the accident, and after some time tells her that, madam, doing so would have been problem for us. But if we go and stop there and help the people, there are chances that the police will question you around there, and unnecessarily you may also get involved. I'll give you a personal example myself. About a few years back, in our society where I stay, there was a lady, fortunately, unfortunately, no, she tried cutting her nerves. But what were the reasons she had? Ultimately, she was crying, and I was one of the person who picked her up, went to the nearby hospital, and because she says, now save me at any cost, I don't want to die. Having taken her to one of the private hospital, rather than helping and giving the first aid to the lady concerned, people started asking me, who is she? Why have you brought her? Have you taken to the, have you informed the police? I literally lost my head and literally had to shout at them, she may be anyone, she requires help, and please give one. If you want money, I'll give it around there. Problem was, then I told her she's not at all related to me. I'm a third person who has brought her here, and she deserves the treatment that she needs it. Ultimately, with a lot of coaching and word of words, a war of words, she was given the treatment. But that is what, if that is the case now, in future, people would not like to give help to the people who are in need. There are different branches of ethics. They call meta-ethics. The ethics about ethics. So the ethics about ethics. Then they call prescriptive ethics. Then they call normative ethics. We'll talk about a bit later on. Then deontological ethics, teleological ethics, virtue ethics. Then descriptive ethics, applied ethics. Their applied ethics can be bioethics, cyber ethics, environment ethics, personal ethics, professional ethics, public ethics, and so many things can afford to come. Okay. Let's talk about first meta-ethics. Meta-ethics deals with a question of like, what is meant by being right, or what is meant by being wrong? What is wrong and what's right? That is the first term. There must be definition existing from there. It's a relative term. Deals with the definition of right and wrong. Meta means about the things itself. So meta-ethics is the ethics about ethics. So it talks about what is right. There should be certain amount of definition, certain correct definition should be for good or right or not so right. Next one, prescriptive ethics, or they call normative ethics. Deals with question like, is that action right, or was that action wrong? Check if the action or outcome of the action fits into the definition of right or wrong. First, we are deciding what is right, what is wrong. Now we are talking about the action. Is it right or not right? Deontological ethics focuses on action, on duty. Teleological ethics focuses on the outcome or end. Virtue ethics are the sub-branches. So it simply talks about, is it right to kill a person or not? Okay. Next, descriptive ethics, or called comparative ethics. Deals with people's belief about morality. Deals with what society thinks as good or bad. So it is more related to the social values. It is an empirical investigation of the moral belief of various groups. How many among you think that it is wrong to kill a person? So earlier we said, next, applied ethics. Most practical branch of ethics deals with ethical questions, especially to particular fields. We have already talked about computer ethics. There will be cyber ethics. So many branches are there. Is it ethical to allow, say, euthanasia? And a lot of debate has already gone on to the subject. Another way of dealing with ethics is they call, is it a private or public ethics? Private is a private relationship, friend, lover, family, informal, emotions, more strong. And what it says, next is called public ethics, co-worker, stranger, strangers, formal, social obligations. This is what is private and public ethics. No. Individuals should be ethical in both private as well as public relationships. In doing so, they should also try to achieve right balance between private and public ethics. Ethics in private relationship largely involves relation with family and friends, hence are informal in nature. Private relations are often driven by emotions, not always, and reasoning as well. This can result in unethical practices also. For example, helping your friend to cheat in an examination is unethical, but many people do it. Also remember Ramayana story where Kaikeyi tried to put her son Bharat on the throne ahead of Rama, elder son of heir of Dasrath. Was it unethical? That becomes a personal ethics or private ethics. Ethics is public relationship. Public involves relation with which are formal in nature. This can include co-workers, government officials, strangers. They can be legal or social obligation as well. Ethics public relation can come into play at social ethics, tolerance towards others, section, peace, harmony, etc. Political ethics, constitutional ethics, national interest, so many comes to play. Organizational ethics, impartiality, honesty, hard work, efficiency, corporate governance, etc. We always talk Tatas in our country are most ethical. Why do we say that? They have set certain rules and they follow it as an the organization which is supreme. International ethics, ethics in diplomacy, respecting international treaties, they are supposed to be ethics versus private life. Gentlemen, there are 4 principles of applied ethics. We did talk about applied ethics. They are called autonomy, the ability of a person to self-determining and self-governing, the capacity of a person to make reasoned choices on the basis of information available. The problem comes up, whatever information available, you can take decision based on what is available. There may be certain ways not available. You have taken a decision in a particular environment. You may turn out to be wrong, but you are still ethical because you have taken a decision based on information available then beneficence and non-maleficence. Now, beneficence requires the caregiver to do good and help people. Then they can provide to anyone. Non-beneficence on the country is the hypocritical requirement on the caregiver to do no harm. I don't want to do any harm. It's a difference. So that's the classical difference between the two. Justice. In some of the literature, justice means to treat people fairly. This might entail treating equally whenever possible. Equally. However, it might also mean treating some people differently when their differences are relevant. For instance, we might choose to provide more health care to low-income people around there who have got health problem. And healthcare is traditionally not accessible to them. Some philosophers believe justice means equality of distribution of resources, while others claim it requires only equality of access. Well, if our 5 fingers are not equal, what would we try and do it? Can there be equality to everyone? Equality to resources, equality person. Every person is different. So at least the endeavor should be to provide basic minimum services or care to all, irrespective of caste, creeds, religion. Then comes distributive justice and social ethics. It refers to fair, equitable, appropriate distribution in society, determined by justified norms of distribution that structure part of the term of social cooperation. Usually, this term refers to distribution of primary social goods, such as economic goods, fundamental political rights, but burdens are so within its scope. Paying for forms of national health insurance is a distributed burden. Now, in our country itself, we are giving reservation at root cost. Someone is being deprived of. It is not, poor are not in the, upper class people. You are in upper class as well as lower class people. People are even dying in the upper caste. So concentrating only one, so that this justice should be distributed. There is no doubt about it. We must provide social ethics involves that we must lift up the people who have been at the back or the back of the society, but not at the cost of others. Progress should be both ways. Otherwise, what will happen? Top will go down and down will go up. So after some years' time, those who are Pandit now, they become, say, in the lower in the society, those in lower side may go up. So again, the distribution, that the social fabric will still remain the same. Okay, so that's all. Thanks, gentlemen. We'll talk about social ethics next time when we meet. Thank you.